Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, YouTubers. It is I, your host, Brooding Gamer, here to bring you something disturbing. Opinions. What? Dun dun dun! Yep, there we are. I'm going to be talking about why I do not think that the designs presented to you work at all for the Jurassic Park / Jurassic World franchise. Now, there has been a lot of speculation lately because there's been some leaks that, of course people are going to say, oh, these are 100% confirmed, or no, these are not confirmed. It's all over the place. That, according to some of my commenters have said that, they're redesigning. And no, before somebody else freaks out, when I'm referring to redesigns, I'm referring to the toy world. A redesign on a toy makes more sense than a new version or a different version of an animal altogether. So I guess I was not clear enough on my last video stating that when I'm referring to a redesign, I'm referring to a toy. A toy can be redesigned to look different ways. So that's where I'm going with this. But we are not talking about toys today. We are going to be talking about the, I use air quotes, living, breathing animals that we received in all of the films. Now, I'm going to start off with the Velociraptors. Velociraptor being one of my favorite designs for the Jurassic franchise. Now, given we know that this is not what a Velociraptor was supposed to look like, but, thanks to the world of Hollywood, and now that they finally covered why animals don't look natural, what they're supposed to look like, thanks to Dr. Wu. They, you could tell that Steven Spielberg and them were just like, can we just write this in there so people stop complaining, please? Thank you. So I want to start with the Velociraptors. Now, there's a little bit of confusion between Jurassic Park and The Lost World. While the raptors in the Jurassic Park franchise, or Jurassic Park, the first movie, were a brownish color, and they were very plain. And then you get to the Lost World Jurassic Park, where the raptors have my favorite design ever shown, the Tiger Raptors. You had a male that was a little darker, had darker stripes, and then you had the female, which was a little more faded. I think that was probably the best design that we've received. Now, that is my opinion. Now, please, everybody, hold on to your butts here, because I am giving my opinion in this. You have the Tiger Raptors, and then you have the regular Velociraptors. Now, the reason I say I'm a little bit on the confused side with this is because they say that the Site B is where the animals were bred, and then Isla Sorna is where, or Isla Nublar is where the animals were taken to. So I don't know if maybe it was the eggs that were transferred over. I would assume the eggs were transferred over to Nublar, because it's going to be a lot harder to transfer, animals already awake and everything over to that island, given dinosaurs. So I'm guessing the eggs were incubated and everything there, and then transferred over to Nublar where they would hatch. So that wow, John Hammond, if I could talk today, so that John Hammond can go ahead and greet every one of them, because he did say he was present for the birth of every living creature on that island. So that is my guess. But a lot of people think that you have about a 50-50 from what I've seen, where people are like, I really like that the animals change each film. And then you have a lot of people that are like, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm one of those people where I'm literally teetering on the 50-50, because I can't tell, why is it that the animals do change so significantly? And why does it not make any sense? Now, it makes sense for a Hollywood standpoint, because we want to redesign these animals, or I'm going to say redesign, because this is not, in this case, it is the same company that was creating these dinosaurs. It's all InGen up until, I would say, Jurassic World. From Jurassic Park to Jurassic Park 3, it's InGen. Biosyn, those other companies, we're not talking Camp Cretaceous, those things don't exist yet. It is just InGen. Biosyn did exist. I know that that was the company that, Dennis Nedry was going, but we are focused solely on InGen, because Biosyn had not even started working, They needed the DNA from Dennis to be even really start beginning their work. So Biosyn was, of course, thing, but I don't remember if Biosyn was name dropped or even shown in Jurassic Park. You just knew it was a rival company that Dennis was doing this for. Anyway, I'm going sidetracked as usual. It can take, and I've looked into this. I actually did some internet research for once in my life. It can take up to millions of years for an animal species to evolve or change its look in significant ways. I don't know if you can have, I'm going to use like a modern day animal for this case. I don't know if you can have a zebra go from having stripes to spots in just a few years. I don't think that's how this works. Now, did the zebra change its shape or its physical shape? No, it did not. It's still the shape of a zebra. That has not changed one bit. But can it change from having stripes to spots in, let's say, just less than a decade? I don't think that's possible. Am I looking too deep into this? Yes. Should I be going out and touching grass? Yes. I can't because there's snow. So, I've beaten you there, guys. Anyway, that's why I say it makes no sense to me that the Velociraptors from the Jurassic Park franchise have changed so significantly. How you go from just modern brown-themed raptors to now having these blackish, gray, the female having the white with the black, kind of like a Dalmatian style with the red around the eye. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love these designs. They look cool. The quills on the back of the head for the male raptors, I think that was a very interesting take for the Velociraptor and a very nice nod to raptors having feathers. But it doesn't make any sense to me. How is it that the raptors from the Lost World in 1997 evolved to be so significantly different than they are in Jurassic Park 3, which came out 4 years later in 2001? I'm starting to feel really old here. Like, oh my god. But some people could say, well, they're different. They're the same raptors, but different parts of the island. Well, that doesn't make much sense to me either. Yeah, you have these tall, I'm going to call them the tall grass raptors, because you don't really see them much out in the jungle. They're all out in the plains and the tall grass. Those could look a little bit differently versus, the raptors that are primarily more in the jungle, to be darker, to be kind of darker, to blend in with the the rainforest shadows and all that, whatever. Like I said, I think I may be looking way too deep into it, but that's why I don't think that it works when a film constantly changes something to be, well, we want to make it look different because we want the kids to we want the toys to look more interesting. We can't just resell the same thing. Yes, you can. You can look at Jurassic Park's designs for their toys. Their raptors changed significantly every toy. Kids don't care if the toy matches the movie. They just see a dinosaur. They see it says Jurassic Park on the box, so they got to have it. You put that little JP logo on the side of the leg, you got to have it. I don't even think they still do that with toys anymore and staple the JP on the side of the leg to give that staple that's what this is. I missed that. Bring that back, guys. I know they put them on the foot, but that's not the same. Put them on the leg, man. Moving on to the next species of, my last one's going to be my biggest argument, but my next species is going to be the Parasaurolophus. Now, the Parasaurolophus has been changing significantly. Now, we do know that there's different versions of a Parasaurolophus. There's a Walkeri, and there's another one. I'm sorry, one of you in the comments will gladly correct me on this. But there are different sizes of crest, I believe, with that Parasaurolophus involved, where it's shorter and larger. Now, they don't specify if the Parasaurolophus has changed from different versions of the para. In the Lost World, we're going to look at Jurassic World, actually. In Jurassic World, we had the normal Parasaurolophus, the large crest, the duck bill. We had the little bit different model of design, because this is a different company now animating these. It's not like I don't remember who it was that was animating them. I never did really dig that deep into who designed the animals model. Now, it is a different company now designing these animals and creating these animals, so they may look a little different versions than the InGen style. I think they're a little less bulky, I believe. I think they're a little skinnier and a little more, they have like a little bit longer neck and everything. I do prefer the InGen style of Parasaurolophus. I liked that better. But I do think that the Jurassic World Para was an okay design choice when making this animal. Design choice from a animator and modeling point of view, not a biological style. But then going into Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or not Fallen Kingdom, but Dominion, we are now introduced to a Parasaurolophus with a more, just a smoother crest, I would say, a bulkier face in like the nasal area, however you want. I should have on screen a comparison of the two different Parasaurolophus, maybe even three if I could find a better image of the Jurassic World 1 Parasaurolophus. But then you look at, this is where I'm going to bring Camp Cretaceous into this, because the Parasaurolophus, where we're at in Camp Cretaceous now, is when the animals have now been brought over to the mainland. We are now experiencing everyday life alongside the dinosaurs. And the Parasaurolophus in that are all the same Parasaurolophus that we had from those other islands, meaning the structure of them, the way they look, are all the one we're more familiar with. Now, in Jurassic World Dominion, we now have this new version of a Parasaurolophus. Again, I say, they have a different body shape to me. To me, it's a little smoother. They don't have that back doesn't seem to like kind of have a deeper arch than like the other Parasaurolophus have. Like I said, if I can have a side-by-side comparison of everything on screen, hopefully that'll make it a little bit better on imagery. But what happened, because even looking at like, well, let's look at the toy line. Let's look at the toys. The Parasaurolophus we have received from Dominion. Have we received a Parasaurolophus from Dominion? Brady, Breeding Gamer, whoever you are. If we have, put it on screen now. But we have not received any figures of the Parasaurolophus from Dominion. We have not received any of those, that style of Parasaurolophus. So what was the point of changing the Parasaurolophus so much? That is where I now ask questions. You know, if it's not too much of a big evolutionary change in the animal, but it's still the same Parasaurolophus species that was brought over from Dominion, or from Fallen Kingdom when they released into the wild. Somehow, these animals just kept... I really do think that they're grasping for straws when they're like, well, 3 Parasaurolophus got released into the wild, but now they're all over the place. We now have hundreds and thousands of them. We have herds of them now. It's like, whoa, these guys were busy. That's where I'm like, you know, there was only one facility where the animals got released. They weren't brought over from anything else. They were only released from that one facility. And then Camp Cretaceous has to make it even more awkward by having Brachiosaurus now out there. Brachiosaurus wasn't brought over on the boat. The Brachiosaurus was toasted on that island. There was no Brachiosaurus on the boat. There was no Brachiosaurus at the manor. So why do we have them? Well, we don't want to not put them in the show. People love them. Well, you need to stick with it. If Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous is now canon to the series, which I believe they stated that it is now, then you need to stick with it. Yes, the Brachiosaurus is one of our favorite dinosaurs. It's the most iconic in the series, right next to that T-Rex, in my opinion. Again, my opinion, that dreaded word. And then you have the only one left on the island, which supposedly, I believe someone said during like the making of the movie, or if they were talking to Trevorrow, and he said that that was supposed to represent the very first dinosaur we ever saw on the island, which is correct. The Brachiosaurus was the first dinosaur we ever received in our face holes, in our eye holes, during the viewing of Jurassic Park all the way back in 1993. And then that was the last dinosaur you saw on the island at the end of, at the end of that chapter in Fallen Kingdom. So they say that is supposed to be the exact same Brachiosaurus. I don't think that's the truth. I'm sure that Brachiosaurus could live not hundreds, but a very long time. Because of, you know, that's another argument people have had, like, why have these animals lived when they should not be alive this long? Well, that one girl who I liked, and I wish they would have brought her back more than just once in Dominion. I wish she would have had a bigger part. Not him. He was annoying. He screamed too much. But her, if I can remember her name, and I don't care enough, obviously. But she said that, you know, given all these animals having now health care, steady diets, medications, they could live a lot longer. So there we go. Now Rexy's out, you know, in Biosyn Valley, hopefully being able to live a lot longer of a life, or not a lot longer of a life. She's already kind of old. But get her out there, and Rexy's like 30 years old, guys. Somebody, I wonder if they can see if there's a way in the bones what's the oldest Tyrannosaur was, and then we could be like, Rexy, you got like another year or two or whatever, like, you know. Rexy is now a little over 30 years old, so that's wow. She's now yeah, wow. Anyway, okay, so I went way off as I usually do. Yeah, the Parasaurolophus design has got me very confused. I don't really care for that design. At first, I was like, oh, okay, we redesigned one of, you know, my favorite herbivore. Well, one of my favorite herbivores, still Dinosaurs had to get in the picture. We had to talk about, you know, the fact that they redesigned. Yes, they redesigned the Para. It is still a Biosyn, or yeah, it was Biosyn, or was Biosyn in Jurassic Park or Jurassic World? The first one? Was it? No. Was it InGen? I'm lost. Somebody help me. I just drew the biggest blank. I'm looking out the window at the snow, and it's just gone. I think InGen was still... Yes. Yes, it was, because InGen was working. So, yes, those Paras would technically be... Would technically be InGen, because then you had big guy Hodge walking in going, I'm taking over of InGen. Biosyn's here. He was with Biosyn. Okay, so, there we go. That I hated that. I really hated that guy. But yeah, it's been all over the place, and I'm all over the place. So I would like to know where the redesigns of these animals go when it comes to, like, who is, you know, where in Hollywood are they like, yeah, we just need to redo the Parasaurolophus. We need to redo this. You know, the next movie we're gonna have a Carnotaurus with like really long curly horns and chameleon eyes, like, you know, like minus the curly horns, but you know, like the one in the Lost World book. You're like, we didn't have that. Why are we doing that all of a sudden? And then you had the audacity to then go into our last animal, where if these leaks are true, which I'm getting a lot of people saying they're real, you're an idiot. No one's called me an idiot, but I'm sure someone will now. But the Mosasaurus has now supposedly been getting a redesign. I'll say that just to piss somebody off. He is getting a remodel, or whatever we want to look at. Supposedly, he is getting smaller, and he's going to be more sub-shaped, and then he's got a new color design. If this is true, if I go, or we watch the first trailer of Jurassic World Rebirth, and the Mosasaurus, there's only one. This is supposed to be the same Mosasaur from Jurassic World, the first movie, that got released in Dominion, or in Fallen Kingdom, and went out into the oceans, which I should have a thing on screen comparing the two versions. There is an actual picture showing the Mosasaur size from Jurassic World all the way to Fallen Kingdom, and it is significantly bigger. Like, they didn't just... I don't know if it's because what Henry Wu did with the DNA and the creations of these dinosaurs or what, but he is now, or what, reptile, whatever you want to call it, is saying that this animal grew significantly in size. That big. I mean, this is like going from like a kraken to a leviathan. Like, you are creating a biblical animal here. An animal of biblical proportions. They just keep getting bigger. Now, in that case, what you're telling me is if this is the same Mosasaurus from the first movie, or from the first Jurassic World film, it has now shrunk. How long does this movie take place? I think it's like 5 years after Dominion, maybe 5 or 6, give or take. It has now shrunk. It has now changed its skin. I don't think that's possible. I'm sorry. This is where I start losing this does not work. This does not work for me. And I have a hard time saying, Now, if it's an offspring, we do know that animals can produce their own eggs without having to mate. Blue being one of them, because of the DNA that she had in her, the lizard DNA. I think it was monitor DNA that she had. They can change they can breed on their own. That's probably why a lot of these animals have been able to repopulate so quickly throughout the world, is because they have that DNA in there to where they're able to lay their own eggs. They don't need to mate. Yes, mating still helps, but here we go. But because Blue had that DNA in her, that she was able to repopulate. She was able to lay a single egg and then give us her offspring, her juvenile. What's to say that the Mosasaurus can't do this as well? Now, I'm assuming, because I don't think I've ever seen a single thing on how a Mosasaurus gives birth. I've watched a lot of Walking with Dinosaurs and a lot of, all these shows online and on TV about how, when dinosaurs repopulate or whatever. But I don't think I've ever seen... I would assume it would give live birth. I know it's a reptile, but I don't understand. I don't know. I don't know. You think a prehistoric turtle, they go on land, they lay their eggs in the sand like a normal turtle would. But like a Mosasaurus, I'm assuming would be a live birth, because you're a large animal in the water. You can't just lay eggs. And they sure as hell cannot get up on land, lay eggs, and then flop back off into the sea. So I'm guessing they give a live birth. Now, I'm going to predict that this Mosasaurus may be... My headcanon here is we're going to see the film begin. We know that the animals are... They have said that the animals are now experiencing extinction for the second time. The third time. We'll say that third time because you had the Fallen Kingdom incident with the island. The dinosaurs are now experiencing a third extinction because... it has taken this amount of time, which makes sense to me, that it has taken this long for the environment to now take its toll on these dinosaurs. Because we know our world is not designed to hold dinosaurs anymore. The atmosphere, the ecosystems are not enough to sustain prehistoric life the way. Like, just because we have snow out here and it's like 20 degrees, you couldn't put a mammoth out here and be like, he'll be fine. No. This would be too warm for a mammoth. You need much colder climates. You need like Antarctic climates, And even that's warming up now these days. So thanks, climate change. But the ecosystem is now taking its toll on the dinosaurs. Now, they did say that some parts of the world are evolving to sustain dinosaur life, which is cool. So I'm guessing your rainforests are now getting even more dense and more warm and more humid and all these things to be able to sustain these dinosaurs. I don't know what parts of the world. I think they have not really gone that in depth. But we have... animals are just, we don't have the same water that the Mosasaurus did. But then again, it's still just ocean water that the Mosasaurus had in Jurassic World. It was still just connected to the ocean. So that was not some special water that they found. Oh, we got E. coli and stuff that was from the period that the Mosasaur lived, so we put that into water. No, I think it's just water. So my theory was going to be that the Mosasaurus, it's finally caught up with her, and she is dead and washed up on a beach, and that's how we're going to start this film. I don't think that's the case, but I do think that this new Mosasaur is going to be a offspring of her. So that would explain, one, the new color. She may just be born with a different... It's maybe it's natural or maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. But I do think that the new design of her is going to be like the color scheme is because she's a juvenile. She's a baby. And babies tend to look a little different than the adults sometimes. And then that would also explain why she's smaller and more submarine shaped, is because she is indeed a baby. Now, the Mosasaurus already being the size of a Leviathan anyway, it could be that she's still going to be decent sized, or he, whatever the gender of this thing will be, if this is the theory is correct. But I think if they were to go, hey, by the way, this Mosasaur right here, this one that has a completely different color scheme and is now so much smaller than the other Mosasaur, that's the same Mosasaur. She just got smaller. Now, given as you age, you can actually get shorter, and that is not uncommon. However, this is a much different and significant change. You don't go from, in your 40s, you're 6'7", and then in your 80s, you're now 4'3". You go from Shaq to Danny DeVito in only a few years. No, that's how we are looking at this. Mosasaur now is Shaq, and the design that they're talking about for the new film is Danny DeVito. Just saying. You don't go from Shaq to Danny in just a few years. You don't. So that's why I'm hoping that if this is true, because I'm sorry, until I see anything on trailer, I'm going to be saying that it is all just a rumor and all just a leak. Every website can come out and say, oh, this is 100% confirmed. Okay, oh, this is 100% confirmed. It is now 100% confirmed that we have a xenomorph-looking monstrosity as our new villain dinosaur. No, until I see it on screen, or I hear them come out and physically say, yes, these leaks are true, no, I am not going to believe it. No, I'm not. I will wait till I see it on screen, and then I'll go, okay, the people on YouTube were right. Or, hey, okay, those leaks were true. Now, at that point, it is now just becoming okay with the design, with the idea that there is a new designed animal, or new whatever you want to call it, a monstrosity on screen, that you totally can rewatch Jurassic Park now and know that, hey, down the road, we're going to be getting an animal that was attempted to be a clone of a dinosaur, but instead became this monstrosity of a Frankenstein monster. Looking at the Indominus Rex, I could have seen that design and gone, I could see that actually being a dinosaur at one point. Now, yeah, it's pretty gnarly. It's got some snaggly teeth and those quills and the ability to walk on all fours and then walk on two legs and everything. All it needed to do was learn how to swim, and it would have been... I could see them being that, like, oh, this is our... If we had never seen the Giga, I could say, this is our Gigantosaurus design. And I would have been like, that's an odd choice for a Giga, but okay. Or this was our Faganax design. I definitely couldn't see that being that. But if they wanted to design it, you could say, yeah, that's definitely a dinosaur, I think. But looking at this, if this is true, if it is a poor cloned animal that it did not develop right, it just didn't come out okay, I don't see how it's going to work. I really don't. And this video is already 27 minutes. Oh my God. I just don't see how it's going to work. You have... The reason why in my head that it's actually, that there's like, I think it actually may be true, is because look at the recent series of Camp Cretaceous. We had a freaking baryonyx that was, actually he was created on this way on purpose though, to be blind. That they did that on purpose because he called it like the echolocation, or it was doing echolocation. So it was designed to be blind for some unknown reason. I don't remember if he said why it was designed to be blind, but he designed it that way. And I don't remember if there was in the background, I could have sworn there was like a Nasutoceratops clone that had no back legs, but it had front legs. So I don't know if this, if you're starting to get some poorly cloned animals, it's not in the realm of possibility to, not within the realm of, oh, for God's sakes. It's not against the idea that you could get an animal that is not normal looking, should not look the way it does, but it's just not okay. Having one animal with, it's like right arm's just a little bit longer and a little bit bigger than its left arm, or God forbid, they were like, oh yeah, here's a failed raptor that has one head, but then part of the head has the snout of another raptor coming out of it, because yes, that could happen. In theory, they could do that, because sometimes you have animals that are born that way. The things just don't work out in the womb or in the egg, and they are born with two heads or whatever. Do I think we're ever going to get it? But the thing is the animal would not live that long to support that. So I don't know if this design is going to work. If it is true, and we are 100% getting a poorly formed mutant dinosaur, then one, I feel bad for it, and two, why? Just where were they like, I know they were originally going to do human dinosaur hybrids, I think that was confirmed to be like actually in the works for Jurassic World or Jurassic Park 4 before it became Jurassic World was human dinosaur hybrids. And I think that actually came out to be true, that was something they were considering. And there was like artwork and everything for it. So, wow. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this video off here. Let me know what you guys think. We've been yammering on for 30 minutes at this point. But let me know what you guys think below. Do you think that these changes in animal designs going from film to film are from a toy standpoint or from a Hollywood choice? Or do you think it's like, do you think they were like, just, well, you know, because they don't explain it in the films why they look different. You know, Ian Malcolm doesn't say, well, those look different from when they looked like in Jurassic Park. Or actually, I don't think he ever got to see the raptors. I think the only dinosaur that Ian Malcolm experienced in Jurassic Park was the T-Rex and the Brachiosaurus and the Triceratops. So, scratch that. I don't think Ian Malcolm ever actually had an interaction with a single raptor. But, so, those ones in Jurassic World could have been like, he's like, I guess those are what they looked like on the park. I don't know. So, there you go with that. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. If you guys would like to leave your opinions in the comments below, let's keep it friendly, please. Keep your, you want to get nasty, go to Best in Slots channel or something. I'm sure I've noticed he likes to get into some arguments. Go ahead and leave your like. If you want to subscribe to see more Jurassic Park, Jurassic World content, you are more than welcome to. I'd love to have you guys. We're now sitting at 3,035 subscribers, so we're doing very good in the beginning. Can we hit 3,500? Can we hit 3,500 by the end of 2025? Can we hit 4,000? Who knows? Anyway, I love every single one of you, and I will see you all in the next video.